Today I'm going to talk about cultural differences between Nigeria and Ireland. This is just for awareness purposes. Cultural differences are just different ways that people of a certain place behave. If you are from Nigeria, you behave a certain way that is different to the way an Irish will behave. It's just your culture, what you're familiar with based on the environment that you grew up in. So watch this video to the end. I'm sure one of the points will wow you. Eye contact. I remember years ago, like when we were growing up, if you did something bad or an elderly person is talking to you or they are correcting you and you look them straight in the eye, is a sign of disrespect onto that elderly person, that you're looking straight into their eye and you just be rude. But on contrary, when I moved to Ireland, I remember I applied for a job one time, I don't know, long time ago like that, and they say she didn't make eye contact. You not making eye contact is like you're not interested in what they are saying, or you are lying, or you don't have confidence. So until someone give you a feedback about your behavior, you wouldn't know what is it that you're doing wrong or why certain people behave differently around you, or they don't even want to share information with you because your body language is telling them that you're not interested. So eye contact is something that is different. Now that I've been living here for a long period of time, it's quite easy for me to know that if I make eye contact with people, I'm showing them that I'm interested in what they are saying. I'm in flow with them, and it's not a sign of disrespect whatsoever. Greeting. When you are a girl and you want to greet people who are older than you, you kneel down. You put your knees on the floor. It's a sign of respect. If you are a boy, you want to greet people who are older than you, you prostrate. That's how you greet. In Ireland, they don't kneel down and they don't prostrate. You just say hello, good afternoon. LOI is even very common. I remember I watched a clip from this cereal that they exchanged family or something like that. And the lady was saying, no, don't worship me, because the girl wanted to greet her and then she was kneeling down. And she said, don't worship me. So it's not like somebody is worshiping you. It's a culture. Now, if you're coming from Nigeria and you are here, you'll be like, oh, these children are so rude. They're not even kneeling down or prostrating. They're so rude. They're not well trained. They don't have manners, because their culture is not, relation to that. They don't kneel down or prostrate. So greeting is different between Nigeria and Ireland. Name calling. If you remember one of my videos that I said, my daughter called my older sister Big Mommy. If somebody is older than you and it's a she, you call her auntie. If somebody is older than you and it's a he, you call her uncle. What in Ireland, if you call somebody an uncle, automatically means that person is related to you. Your dad, younger brother, your mom, younger brother, or something like that. But coming from Nigeria, that's not the case. An uncle is a male that is older than you. And an aunt, your auntie, is somebody that's older than you, that's a female. So everybody is an uncle and everybody is an aunt. So if you come in here, a few years ago, I met a lady. Her name is Dorothy, shout out to her. And she was my colleague. And I was telling her about this. And I said, I'm not supposed to be calling you by name. I'm supposed to call you Auntie Dorothy. She said, if you call me Auntie, I'm going to box you. She just laughed. And she must be wondering, what the hell? Because she's thinking she's not my auntie. But that's the way it should be. Now, me encouraging my children to be in that culture, I will say to them, if you go to your friend's house, don't call their parents by their names. Call them Mrs. Obisesan or Elo or Mommy, something like my first daughter is Ayo. You can call me Mommy Ayo. Your friends cannot come into my house and call me by my name. It's a sign of disrespect. So these are things that you need to people need to understand your culture And if you get into Ireland and people call you by your name, you're not related to them, so they can't call you auntie or uncle. They have to call you by your name. And if you're she's calling me by my name, I'm older than her. It doesn't really matter. There's no culture here that states you have to give an extreme respect in a way by name calling to other people. Of course, you have to respect people regardless of how old they are. But the culture here is different. So that's something different that you will see when you get to Ireland. Left-handed. If you're left-handed, you're rude. You cannot use your left hand. If you want to give somebody something back home, you use your left hand. They say, no, use your right hand. And then you have to use your right hand. And one of the problems with that is when a child is growing up and then maybe their brain is shifted towards their left, allow them to be who they want to be. If you keep saying, use your right hand, you're kind of rechanneling the child's brain. These are the culture that there are some things that we used to know that we have to kind of change or drop or not really overemphasize on it because it's affecting some children mentally. But here, it doesn't really matter. You ask a child to give you something, oh, you're left-handed. That's the first word you hear. Oh, you're left-handed. Oh, great. They don't say, no, put it on your right hand. So if a child come to you and give you something with their left hand, it's not because they are disrespectful. It's just that's how their brain is processing, and we just have to embrace that because we are all uniquely different. So if you come in contact with that, doesn't mean the child is disrespectful. It's just how they are programmed. Community parenting. Back home, everybody is in charge. People who are older than you are in charge of making sure you are okay. I said in one of my videos, I can link it up here. If you go to school and come back from school, your mom is not at home, definitely somebody, your neighbor, will take care of you. It's just responsibility. They will take care of you. Unlike here, if your mom is not home, it's even very hard for you to go to your neighbor to say, can you give me something to eat? Or your neighbor even coming out to say, oh, your mom is not home. Come into my house for a while. I'll give you something to eat. Even sometimes you don't see your neighbor for a long time. Like, you don't even see people because up into their car they go and that's it. Also in the area of pregnancy, when you're pregnant and you're in Nigeria, people will not usually ask you, when are you due? Or rub your tummy, except people who are really closer to you. Like if you come here, people, oh, when are you due? Oh, when are you due? They really want to rub your tummy. And back home, I know I watched a clip, it was a comedy where somebody was saying, oh, a girl or a boy? And the lady said, which one do you need? Which one they ask you to go and bring? So kind of say which one they ask you to go and bring to use. So it's not because their intention are evil, that's why they are asking, or their intention are evil, that's why they want to rub your tummy. It's just curiosity. Oh, you're pregnant. Oh, when are you due? A boy, a girl, and blah, 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 blah. So cultural differences is something that we have to embrace. Like, so you do something in a particular way in your homes would be like a taboo in someone else's home. So that's how culture is. We just have to embrace it. Wherever you're coming from and you think this is not right, like the point of the left hand one, you think, oh, it's not right. I've heard some stories about younger people who have been affected because their brain is going this way and their parents are forcing them to go this way. So let me drop that. Let me allow this child to behave in a way that they are programmed. So that's what culture is all about. You hold on to part of you that is working, and then you let go of the part that is not really working, so that life will be easier for people around you. Career, in the area of career, I know a lot of people from Nigeria will know this. It's either you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an engineer, or you're a failure. All these career now where people are virtual assistant. Oh, what kind of job do you do? I'm a social media manager. Like, what kind of job is that? You want to be useless? It's not like that here. Whatever that make you happy, whatever that gives you joy, whatever that your gifts are, is what we encourage our children to do, and that's what we are emulating now everybody is not going to be a lawyer. If everybody is a lawyer, who's going to cook for you if you go into a restaurant? If everybody is a doctor, who is going to, paint your house if you need it painted? So we should embrace whatever areas that our child wants to focus on. Because somebody is not a lawyer or somebody is not a doctor or an engineer doesn't mean they're a failure. Some people, they write, and they write really well, and that's what they do. They write for big companies. They help big brands post their social media posts and all, and that's what they do. And back home, then it's something like, wow, that's not a job. You're gonna starve if you do that. So that's something we have to keep an eye open for. In the area of the gift of our kids, their purpose is in the area of their gift, and we should let them kind of juggle around. Education is good, of course, to juggle around and be able to pick a course or a career that they feel happy, that they feel at peace with themselves with. Physical contact, sometimes you really don't hug like that. Like, I remember growing up, my dad, I can't even remember how many times I have to give him a hug. It's something that maybe because I'm a female, or even if you're a male, it's something that's not really there. But coming here, when I go back home, all I really want to do is to hug people. That's just a sign of expressing, because that's what you get from here. People hug you, people peck you. So these are good gestures to show that you love somebody, you miss somebody. You just want to embrace them. So hugging wasn't really part of me growing up, and I'm sure it's the same case with everybody. So when you get here, someone really wants to greet you, they give you a hug, you'll be like, why are they hugging me? It's just part of the culture, and it's just a gesture. Talking back, when your parents are talking, when people who are older than you are talking, you cannot talk. That's the culture from home. And when you get when an elderly person is talking, you want to talk, you're trying to explain what happened. It's not like it's a taboo over here, even though we are beginning to, embrace that, because that's what is causing the gap between the older generation and the younger generation. Because I'm your mother, I'm always right. It's not working anymore. So when you come in here and a child is talking, you just kind of have to encourage them to apply a bit of respect. Let's say they sound rude in a way, to say, okay, you can talk, your turn, you talk, but don't raise your voice, and something like that. So that's one of the cultural differences that you will see when you get there. Everybody have the right to their speech, but whether you're talking to a younger person, you should talk with respect, as well as a younger person talking to an older person. So when an elderly person is talking to you, you can't talk back. It's not working, except if that child is being disrespectful. So that's one of the cultural differences that we need to kind of change a bit, because it's a sign that you're shutting them down, because you're saying, I'm your mom, I know better than you. Stuff like that. So we really need to emulate other things that will work and bring us closer to one another. Hairdo or plait your hair. If you're a female, you can get your hair done. You can't cut your hair like I have my hair cut. If you're a male, you cannot plait your hair or have something. It's a sign that you're not responsible. You hear some cases about, you pierce your ears, you have your ears done. You're a bad child, they will arrest you and stuff like that. It's not the same. Everybody have the right to do their hair in a way that they feel is comfortable for them. There's still some culture, like the Muslim way. If you have a child, and the child, Yoruba way of naming a child is after 8 days, the child we do the naming ceremony. The Muslim usually cut off the child's hair. They cut it all off completely. So that's a culture. That's some of the culture we're still sticking with. Unlike here, when you come here, even right in the hospital, they are saying the baby's names already. Like, you'll be wondering about marriage right, traditional marriage. If you want to get married in Nigeria and you are a Yoruba, your parents have to be present. It's the proper way of your parents giving you away. If any of your parents is late, the younger sibling of your dad will sit as your dad, vice versa. And they have to be present. If you are having an issue with your parent, your spouse we ask you, their family we ask you to mend that. They are not going to go ahead with the traditional marriage if there's a fight between you and your parent. But when you get here, I've had a situation where some people will say, oh, I'm not in a good relationship with my parents, so my parents are not going to be at my wedding. Like, if your parents are not going to be at your wedding, it's very hard for the parent plans to go on. Except in some situation where we don't want to be there it's coming from your parent and not from you. So whatever situation that you have going on in your family, you have to settle it before the traditional marriage can go on. Isn't that strange? So if you get here, you see some people, pictures, or they might even say, oh, my parents won't be there. Oh, we are going to, Italy, my parents won't be there. Like, if you do that in Nigeria and you are the bride, the wedding probably might not go on because you're having an issue with your parent. So if you have any more, cultural differences that's like, ooh, that's a shock, you can put it down in the comment section. Until I come your way again, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, warriors.